Hey there. So today I want to begin talking about DC Black Label. Today I want to talk about Kelly Sue DeConnick, and this is the groundwork I want to do. I'm going to do this in two videos. Basically, I'm going to introduce this guy, I'm going to work up to a specific point, and then I want to cover an article later on. Now, when looking at this guy, you may wonder, why the heck are we talking about him at all? Looking at him, what is important about him? Well, what you'll notice right off the bat is that he is an editor at DC Comics. This person has been there from March 2015 to present, 3 years and 1 month. So they've been around for a while. They have edited quite a few different books within that time. They've worked with quite a few people, and they have a lot to say on people that are buying comic books as well. Here, for example, is this guy talking about so many things that are on center stage right now. He's talking about blockchains. He's talking about stroking his ego as an editor. Like consumers, that's the only thing we want. We actually want jobs underneath people like this. And he goes further to castigate individuals and to cast them as sexists, racists, and low-life pieces of shit online. That is literally his talking point here. I find this interesting too, because he is not talking at it as himself. He is talking about it through the lens of his work. He's talking about this stuff as an editor. And make no mistake, he uses that lens to discuss this. So anyone thinking that these people are not talking through their occupations, they need to look at this again. Also, you need to cut through the rhetoric and realize what they're talking about. When they're talking about utilizing blockchains, Alex DeCampi talked about this herself. When you get down to it, you have these people that are deciding if you say that there is something racist going on and you buy comic books and are bothered by it, you're a concerned troll. You're actually not a comic buyer at all. You're trolling people. If you say that, hey, I'm a Latino, or hey, I'm a homosexual, or hey, I'm a black, and I don't feel like you are representing us correctly there, if you don't have enough followers online, hey, you're a blackface troll. Hey, somebody like that, or somebody like this person, or somebody like a Tim Doyle, they get to judge you within that. And hey, if you don't think that it requires a formulary to actually be a racist, then of course you're a racist troll. That's the kind of people that advocate for blockchain use. That's the kind of people that this person represents. But hey, let's get into what they're saying. I don't use blockchains. Trolls mostly don't come at me, probably because they're desperate to work in comics and smart enough to know attacking an editor is a really bad idea, but sadly not smart enough to know I'm watching them attack everyone else. Number one, I'm tired of being called a troll within this kind of stuff, and make no mistake, that's the kind of people that are talking about you. They're not talking about trolls out there, they're talking about consumers. See, this frame of reference, apparently we're all desperate to get into comics, and apparently this guy here, he holds a lot of power and sway within the industry. I wonder what DC Comics thinks about someone that holds themselves aloft like this, because I personally am tired of hearing this conversation be echoed through this sentimentality. But going further with what he says, let's continue. I could be more explicit. If I see you being a sexist, racist, low-down piece of shit online or anywhere else, I will never ever hire you, and I'm not alone. Well, that's interesting, Andy. Then why don't you fire half of the people that are working under you? Why don't you go to town and actually get rid of the individuals that do these kinds of things, or that do them by proxy, by utilizing blockchains? Individuals that go out and do that, they have labeled and disparaged tens of thousands of individuals as these things, or they go out and they do it individually. See, we see reprehensible people going out there and targeting individuals because of their gender, because of their race, because of their sexuality or identity, because of their political affiliation and on. And yet people like you're not only silent within that, but you're complicit. You take a Bond villain, for example, working under the same roof with you, talks about white, cis people all the time, rails on them, even attacks individuals representing other companies. And where are you? You're standing right in their corner because ultimately you are complicit. Moreover, you even encourage this because you say people on the other side of that, they're the bad guy. They're all of these qualifiers. And if you want to get into this stuff, if you want to be able to work here, then you better keep your mouth shut. Well, you know what? Consumers see this too. You think you sit there and you're the only person that sees this, and you think that truly in the end that you matter? Consumers at any time can pull the rug out from under this thing. People can magnify this and make it so much larger, and that's what people are doing because they're getting sick of it. People too have really rallied behind DC. They've allowed them to take over the lion's share of marketing because Marvel, they're falling off of it. They are not where they should be. DC, they're poised to take over, and yet we see people like yourself going out and throwing in like you represent comic books. You may represent a comic book step within that chain, but you have no power over myself or tens of thousands of people like me. We're consumers and we're tired of this stuff, and we are going to get more and more vocal. And yourself, when you do this kind of stuff, all you do is hurt the company that you represent. But in the end, we know you don't care. So here is the same person talking about just started a folder for what will be my 25th project as a DC Comics editor. You're going to like it. So they're talking about a project that's upcoming and that people will be excited about. You can see Anto say, "Make me," joking around with this person. They say back, "You're going to like it so much that you'll come back and delete that tweet in disgrace." "Challenge accepted," Antos answered. Now you see within that, you see the kind of people that banter back and forth, but within that banter, I see a bad player talking to a representative of a company that I'm currently supporting, a player that basically said that males need not apply to the Me Too hashtag, that kind of person there, and this person bantering back and forth like, hey, those people, they're okay people. Now, what was this thing that they were talking about? What was their 25th project that was going to take the stage? Well, this person will be on the project with Kelly Sue DeConnick representing DC's Black Label. Now, within that, I find it interesting because of a few factors. Number one, Kelly Sue DeConnick within that, who we need to have a broader conversation about why she is here, period, why she is on this DC Black Label, which is supposed to be the upper echelon of everything, but also within that, why this person is going out and they are disparaging customers with some of the things that they say, and yet they're being elevated to the upper portions of this game. Why exactly is this happening again and again? Why in comic books do we see this transpiring, where in other industries these people, they would be in some basement floor abode, or they would be escorted out of the building by security? That's the kind of stuff that we need not only to ask ourselves within this conversation, but we need to be louder within it, and we need to be asking these comic book companies. If they want us to buy these things over and over again, then we truly need to see that word that we talk about all the time. We need to hear that word truly echoed. That word, inclusion. See, for myself, I don't feel included at this table anymore. What I hear over and over again from this industry as it declines in revenue again and again is that, hey, you guys over there, you need to either do this or you need to get out. You, because you're a demographic that actually supported comic books time and again, or because individuals, they have gathered and they've asked for things again, like quality of work, like certain types of standards, but beyond that, with standards of behavior where we see people that work within this industry actually treat people with baseline dignity that you would expect from other things, how does that make you the bad guy? These people, over and over again, they throw this out there. They throw out how they're challenging something that's monstrous when in fact they're challenging comic consumers. Now to that, I say two things. Number one, challenge accepted, game on, whatever you want to call that. Number two, again, you have no sway over us. And if you're threatening to keep people out of comics because you want to gatekeep, then comic consumers, we're actually watching this, and we know the law probably better than you. We probably understand this game just as much as you from your level, and we can make an impact. We're tired of this stuff, and we need to be vocal about it. So, again, game on. All right. Anyway, I think that was pretty good to cover there. There is a second part of this that I want to cover on Kelly Sue DeConnick, because I want to talk about Kelly Sue DeConnick being added to this and why that happened. I mean, within that, why? I don't want to frame that within this because this is the only female added so far, and the outcry that will basically resound to anything you're saying is going to be, oh, you're a sexist. So instead, I'm going to actually let an article build that topic for me. All right, so thanks.